Hi, friends. Oh my gosh, are we live here? Okay. Bear with me as I adjust camera angles because this looks really funny. I hope you can hear me. I have a very fancy Madonna microphone on, uh, mainly because I like to lip sing like a virgin in the shower. Uh, okay, not really. I hope you can hear me though. And I wanted to let you know that we, as you will always come to expect, whenever I do a Facebook Live, I probably have one or two children with me as I'm doing the Facebook Live. So today I have baby Jackson. See, he was sleeping up until about 2 seconds ago when I started talking and woke him up. Ha! So expect that I might have to pick him up at some point during our conversation. You guys, I'm so excited to be here. So here's how this works. What's up, Carlene? Yeah, awesome. This is the first time I have done a Facebook Live on my business page. Every Friday I hop onto my private group page called the Strong Mom Tribe, and I host something called the Friday Coach Live, where I coach the amazing women in our tribe on any issue they ask for. And I keep those private and closed within our tribe because we're just a really like close knit, confidential group of ladies, and we just want to keep that amongst ourselves. So in this process, I realized, holy cow, like we are getting into some amazing and powerful information here that would benefit so many people, and I'm only sharing it like on a closed Facebook group. I mean, this is information that guys can benefit from too. Because sorry, guys, you don't really, I guess you could try to request coming into the Strong Mom Tribe group. I would definitely want to have that conversation with you to see why. But it's at this point, it's just for women with children. What's up, Sean? Yay! I'm so glad to see you. So awesome. The beauty of Facebook, right? So I'm excited to hold it to start this Magic Monday. I'm calling it Magic Monday. So every Monday at noon Alaska time, it is my goal and intent to hop on here with you guys for a Facebook Live, probably about 30 minutes or so. And I just want to share with you, yay, Sean's a guy. I posted to Sean because Sean shared the announcement for Monday Magic today, and I posted and I was like, guess what? Guys can come. Yay. I know it's the little things that we get excited about, right? I love what you do. Sean is amazing. Sean is a friend of mine from Olympia, and he has just an incredible and empowering and inspiring Facebook. You guys should friend request him because he travels everywhere and has such a positive attitude about his health condition. And for a while there, he had this like monkey, and he was traveling with this monkey. And every time he would go into the hospital for treatment for his lungs, he would bring the monkey. And it was just like this fabulous, wonderful, positive way to bring viewers on along with his journey. So love you too, Sean. You're amazing and inspiring. And thank you for the goodness that you bring into this world. So back to Magic Monday. I'm just going to hop on here every Monday at noon, and I'm going to give you guys like talk through. Think of it like just as these are the issues that I've been seeing as really prominent in my clients' lives and what we've been working through. And there are some tidbits that everybody could learn from. So it's my goal and intent to bring these really kind of mind blowing concepts to you guys, the broader public, and to keep it from not just being confidential within our Strong Mom Tribe group. So that being said, if you are a mama and you want to join our Strong Mom Tribe, please do, because we would love to have you. All you have to do is go over to Strong Mom Tribe. If you just put that in the search bar for Facebook, you'll see it pop up, and just request to join, and I'll approve your request, and then you can join us every Friday at noon for our Friday Coach Live. And if you're not, and if you just want to stay here, you'll find me here every Monday doing Magic Monday. Okay. Are you guys ready to make some magic? Let's do this. Yeah. Hi, Megan. Oh, I miss you, girl. I need some more Megan in my life. I do. I miss you. Okay. So this is an issue that I'm going to talk with you today that has been really like relevant and coming up a lot for a lot of my clients. And whether you're a mama or not, if you have kids and you're an athlete, you're going to want to listen up because we're going to hit it hard and heavy today. We're going to hit it hard and heavy. Oh, also, I'm really going to try to keep this PG. If you're over in my Strong Mom tribe, you know that I like to use 4-letter words sometimes and some adult language. But over here on my business page, I'm going to try to keep our Magic Mondays PG and no 4-letter words, so that if your kiddos are listening, we're all good. Just a heads up. So I've tried to kind of summarize the problem here, and I have some notes. I've jotted some notes down to keep me focused. So if you see my eyes go down, that's what I'm looking at. But essentially, we're talking about how to be an athlete after you've had kids, and not only just how to be an athlete, but how to love the athlete that you are after you have kids. And the problem that I've been seeing in a lot of my clients usually shows up like this. And I think it can be best summarized by one of the members in our Strong Mom tribe who said, I'm a mom to beautiful, healthy children, but who am I if I can't be an athlete, right? And here's how this problem usually manifests itself for us. We, before we had kids, have developed for ourselves a pretty consistent strategic training plan where we show up every day and we have our hours charted and we know exactly if we do A, B, and C, we're going to produce result D, right? Particularly for athletes who have trained on the collegiate level and are now off of that collegiate cycle, but yet are still really pounding the pavement and creating an athletic lifestyle for themselves along with their career. So it's a very regimented plan, right? And if you've created a training plan for yourself, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's predictability, and it's almost like the predictability almost makes it fun, right? It's like, this is I've planned today, it's Sunday, I have planned a 3-hour long run. I'm going to shape my entire day around the 3-hour long run so that I can support this goal. And it's fun and it's something that I'm going to do because I know it's going to produce result D, right? So that was our life as athletes before we had children. And then we have children. And let me tell you, when I had my baby, who's now 3 years old, I had it stuck in my brain that I was not going to be one of those mamas that stopped running and stopped skiing. I was going to get out there. I was going to keep hammering the hours. Oh my gosh, we went and climbed Matanuska Peak, which is a local peak range here in Alaska, like 9 weeks after I had the baby. Cuckoo, I would not recommend that. But I really had in my mind that I was going to maintain this consistent athletic lifestyle that I had developed and really fallen in love with for myself. And so many mamas have this same perception of themselves with kids, particularly if you're that hard driving, type A, kind of strategic, almost perfectionist mama who's an athlete. Yeah, I know, I'm singing your tune. But then you have kids. The training plan that you had before kids that requires all these hours, it doesn't work anymore. You don't have 3 hours on Sunday, and you can't structure your entire Sunday around a 3-hour run. And if you try, I guarantee you your youngest baby's going to get diarrhea at the last minute and you're not going to be able to go on that run, right? We have so many unpredictable variables. And then all of a sudden, training doesn't feel fun anymore. It feels like it's a struggle, like it's a fight, like you're fighting against the naturally occurring variables and circumstances in your life. Not only that, but your body doesn't feel the same. And this was another thing that I really fought against when I had my last baby, was this idea that once you have a baby, your body is never going to be the same. Oh, I hate it when people say that. But it's true. It really is. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. And here's how we can really shape our mental thinking on this. Oftentimes, after we have a baby, we're going to have core strength issues. We're going to have pelvic floor issues. Not only are we changing physically, but we're changing psychologically. We're changing emotionally. We're changing spiritually. There are so many things that change in our body after we have a baby. And if you're an athlete that previous to a baby has had this very regimented training plan, there are going to be new elements, variables occurring within inside of you that you are now going to have to take into account that you did not have to take into account before you had kids. So all of this kind of erupts into like this basic existential question where we sit back and we ask ourselves like, okay, I'm a mama, I am an athlete, but now what are my goals? What is the point? Is this even worth it anymore? It's such a struggle. I like being a mom, but if I can't also be an athlete, who am I? And I want to offer you this. This isn't an identity problem. This is a capacity problem. This is not a strategy problem. This is a capacity problem. And this is what I really hammer in and work with my mamas, with my Strong Mom Tribe, with my Strong Mom 6-week program, is that you already know who you are, girl. You're smart. You have achieved so much in your life. You have that identity down and you already know, you already have the strategy for the training plan, right? You don't, I mean, sure, you can go hire a coach that's going to hold you accountable, but then you hire the coach and then you don't show up, right? What's going on here? There's something happening. You know the strategy, you can figure that out, but you don't have the capacity to follow through. So what you have to do is identify the ways that you are self-sabotaging your capacity to be an athletic mama. Okay? So you tracking with me? So I'm going to walk through with you these steps, what I see most commonly with my clients where they self-sabotage their capacity to be a mom and an athlete. And I've identified specifically 4 different ways that we do this, how we self-sabotage our capacity to be a mom and an athlete. So we're going to talk about these ways that we self-sabotage ourselves. And then I'm going to offer you some thoughts and some other kind of mental mindset ways that you can reshape and build this capacity. So again, when I come on here, I'm not necessarily talking about strategy. You can go to Pinterest and you can get a workout plan. Like, you don't need that from me, right? What we do here is we make magic by checking our thoughts, by being like mind ninjas and really diving in there and figuring out, how am I getting in my own way? How can I get out of my way? And then how can I build my capacity to be exceptional and thrive? So that's what we're going to do right now. How can we identify the ways that we are self-sabotaging our capacity to be a mom and an athlete? So there's 4 ways. First way, I see mamas sabotage their capacity to be a mom and an athlete by being a perfectionist. Can you guys hear Jackson on the ground? I'm going to pick him up. Hold on a second. Do you want to come say hi? Yeah, you too? Come here. Come here. He was totally sleeping right until the moment I pressed play. Can you believe it? What's up, Magira? Oh my gosh. Hi. Oh, I love you, girl. Ah, Kalisa. It's summer. Woo! Man, we've got some cool people on today. Heck yeah. Okay, so can you see how excited I am to see you guys? So number 1, we sabotage our capacity to be a mom and an athlete by being a perfectionist. What does this look like? Our training plan has to be perfect and dialed in. Okay, we resort back to how we used to shape our training plan, which was very predictable, right? So we have this idea that it needs to be perfect and dialed in. Our training plan has to consist of a certain set number of hours. If we're going to be successful in this training and being an athlete, then I have to train 15 hours a week. That is an absolute non-negotiable fact. Our training plan has some results, like we're training for a result that's really not realistic anymore. So I had a baby 3 months ago, and my training is that in 6 months, I'm going to get first place in the marathon, because 2 years ago, I got first place in that exact same marathon. And I'm going to do it again in 9 months. 9 months after having my baby. It's exactly what I'm going to do. You see how it sounds like a good idea, right? But it's not. It's not an idea that serves a purpose for us, because there is so much room for failure within that. Another way that we sabotage our goals by being a perfectionist is that we find ourselves just getting thrown off really easily. It's kind of that I'm either completely in or completely out, right? So in order for me to be an athlete and to do what I need to do, I need to have all of my training exactly the way I want it to be. And if it can't be that way, done. When we do that, we're really just failing ahead of time. I mean, we're just afraid that if we continue to do it and we don't achieve the goal, then we'll be failing. So we might as well just tell ourselves, well, if I can't do it perfectly, I'm not going to do it at all. And oh my gosh, so many mamas do this, not just with training. I mean, you can see how these things carry over into our work, into our dietary choices, into the way we communicate in our relationships. This doesn't just apply to athletics, being an athlete, but you know. So and then another way that we sabotage our capacity to be a mom and an athlete by being a perfectionist is that we may find ourselves beating ourselves, I already said that, beating ourselves up by if we don't do it exactly the way we said that we were going to do it. So if you see yourself in any of these examples, you know that you're using perfectionism, this idea of perfectionism, to sabotage yourself. Oh, procrastination is also a great indicator that you're being a perfectionist and you're sabotaging your capacity to be an athlete and a mom. So the solution to this, if you're seeing yourself in this and you are identifying these perfectionist tendencies, is to change the thought that you're having about your goals. So oftentimes, women who are experiencing this will have this preconceived notion. Sorry, I need to get some water. A preconceived notion that they have to do A+ work. They've always done A+ work, right? We're very like dialed in and we want it just right and it has to be completely lined. So we're always shooting for A+ work. Stop shooting for A+ work. As long as you're attempting to do A+ work, you ain't gonna do any work, girl, because you have kids now. I'm going to speak some truth. You got kids. It's not going to be A+ anymore. It's going to be a C. And that's okay. It's completely okay. Because if you are continually expecting your life as an athlete and a mom to be A+, you're going to fail. Well, either you'll completely fail or you'll realize that either A, you're going to have to can the goal of being an athlete, or B, can the goal of being a mom that shows up for her kids, right? You're not going to be able to do both in that A+ way. Do you see how this also applies with career, with all of these? So it's always just this strategic balance. How can you increase your capacity to do it, to be an athlete and a mama? Aim for C work. You're getting average work. But that's okay. And that's where the mindset kind of screwiness comes in. You have to learn to be okay with C work. You have to give yourself permission to do that. Here's how I've done it. I know that if I aim for A work in my training, he's so cute. Sorry, he's a little distracting. I know that if I aim for A work in my training, if I go to every training session with the goal of it being like the superior session that's going to push me one step further to my goals, I'm likely to not show up. Because what if I only slept 6 hours the night before? What if my body is tired? What if I didn't recover from the day before training, right? All of these variables, all of these circumstances that occur in our life when we become parents that we cannot even begin to possibly predict. So if we are continually aiming for A work, then we just decide that we're going to stop. We just don't do it. So I know that if I'm aiming for A work with every single workout, every single day that I'm training, it's going to be a burden. It's going to be big. So I'm going to go for C work. That means that my goal is to just show up. I just show up. If I only hang for 20 minutes, I only hang for 20 minutes. If I hang for the full 90 minutes, awesome. But if I hang for the full 90 minutes and I'm going at like low base rate cardio level, like just maintenance cardio, that's totally fine. If I'm going and I'm able to, hit through with the sprint drills and be at the top of the pack, that's totally fine. The goal is C work. And for me, C work means I've shown up. So really sit down and ask yourself, what does it mean as an athlete to show up each day to your training plan with an A, to get an A? What does that look like? Like, what are you expecting of yourself? And then what does it look like if you just showed up with the expectation of getting a C? And how much different would that feel? Would it feel a little more, would you feel a little relief? Would it feel a little more doable? Knowing that, you just have to put your running shoes on, and even if you end up walking for half of the trip, or you end up just walking for 20 minutes and you don't do your 3-mile run, that's okay. What does C work for you? And does that feel a little bit relieving to know that that's your goal, just to do C work? Okay. So, number 2, I see mamas sabotage their capacity to be a mom and an athlete by using the past in order to plan for the future. Actually, what they do is they use the past and they use the now to plan for the future. Okay, so what does this look like? In the past, if you remember in the beginning, I kind of described the problem and what I see mamas experiencing before kids and then after kids. So in the past, they had this very regimented and tightly drawn training plan. And so they're using that idea of themselves as an athlete to project into the future of where they want their goals to be. Well, this athlete over here has nothing to do with this athlete over here. They are completely different athletes. And they will use the now, what I'm doing right now as an athlete, to project what I want to be, my goals, my expectations of myself as an athlete into the future. But this athlete now has nothing to do with this athlete in the future, because this athlete now is, well, and I'll use myself as an example, is 4.5 months postpartum, is still tired, is still losing her hair, still has crazy, wacky fluctuations of progesterone and estrogen, isn't recovering well, and isn't sleeping well. So how in the world could I use this athlete to project into the future of what myself as a future athlete is going to be? It just doesn't make sense. Think about it this way. If let me see, I want to make sure that I'm not like jumping. Think about it this way. If you're using the now to influence your training goals for the future, you're only going to be projecting and being and living the now in the future, and you don't want that. So close your eyes and just ask yourself, how do you want to feel in the future? How do you want to feel for your future goals, for your training goals? Who is that person? Who is she? What can she accomplish? And know that what that person was in the past and what that person is now as an athlete is so different from who that person is going to be in the future. Whoever that person as an athlete and a mom is, you get to create that. You get to create, it's yours to own. There is no one or nothing that can tell you what you should or should not do as an athlete and as a mama. You get to create that person. So just decide that that's who you're going to be and be okay with it. And catch yourself when you're using your past to inform your future and your now to inform your future. Because as soon as you do that, you know that you are limiting your vision, limiting your scope of practice, and limiting your ability to really get out there and kick ass. Oop, I said I would keep this PG rated. Is ASS a PG? I don't know. Anyways. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure I'm covering everything. And I think what I'll do also is post this as a blog because I did kind of get into the meat of it. I love this topic. It's so good. And to ask yourself, so again, if we go to this, like, how do I want to feel about myself as an athlete in the future? If I think about myself a year from now as an athlete, I want to feel empowered, strong, like I want it to be fun, right? So how do I need to show up today in order to make that happen? And that's where you guide your actions. That's where you produce your results versus getting stuck on this idea that, 2.5 years ago after I had my first baby, I was able to go win the marathon and now I can't even recover from a basic run or something like that, so don't get stuck in the past. That was in the past. It's not don't let it inform your future. Does that make sense, you guys? By the way, I love it when you talk to me in the comments because literally this feels like I'm talking to myself. Like I can see my own face on the computer screen. It's weird. So if you have questions as I'm going through, like bring them up, baby, make it happen. Or like click the like thumbs up or thumbs down just so I know you're alive and that you can hear me. And if you are watching this on replay, because this will be like forever housed at my Coach Katie Facebook page, business page. If you're watching this on replay, like chime in and ask a question in the comments section because I do get notified whenever comments come in. So even if you are listening 3 weeks from now and you have a question or whatever, chime in, ask your question. I'll see it. Mwah. Okay, so the third way that mamas sabotage their capacity to be a mom and an athlete is by being too strict and sucking the fun out of it. Here's the truth. If it's not fun, you're not gonna do it. If it's not fun, if you're showing up every day to training thinking, oh my God, this sucks, you're not gonna do it. So don't force yourself. You're gonna have to reshape the way you think about your training. Here's an analogy for you. Say you live in Hawaii. No, say you live in Alaska and you're a triathlete and you've been training for a triathlon in Alaska, okay? And then you go and you move to Hawaii and you decide to keep training for this triathlon in Hawaii. Would you be wearing the same wetsuit in Hawaii that you were wearing in Alaska? Or even the same road bike, or even the same training clothes, or even the same training plan? No, you would adapt it. You would change it to fit the environment, the circumstances, the situation of living in Hawaii. You would just logically change it and adapt it. Why don't we do the same thing when we have kids? We were training in Alaska, now we're training in Hawaii. Change it up to fit the situation. We were training before kids, now we're training with kids. Change it up to fit the situation. If we keep fighting this idea that we can continue to live our life just like we lived it before we had kids, if we keep trying to push ourselves into that definition of life before kids means that I'm an athlete, we're just screwing ourselves. We're just training in Hawaii wearing an outdoor wetsuit that's designed for the Alaska frigid waters. It's illogical. So switch up the way you're looking at your training to fit and be compatible with the fact that you have a very real new situation and circumstance in your life. Oh my God. He cracks me up. And be okay with it. It's totally okay. Remember, we're aiming for C work anyways, right? If our goal at this point in our life and our parenting and our motherhood is just to show up, it's just our C work, fine, totally fine. And not only that, but if we're using an idea of where we want to be in the future as an athlete to fuel us today versus, oh my God, this is what I used to do and I'm not able to do any of this right now. What the heck am I doing? See how our our mindset just completely shifts. And then all of a sudden, training will become fun because we're training and showing up every day, flexible with the variables that are being thrown at us, with a goal that we can envision and picture that's realistic and that's exciting and empowering. And we're not holding ourselves to this ridiculous expectation that we're going to be perfect and spot on with every single training session. Okay, so you're not training in Alaska anymore. You're training in Hawaii. Readjust, like adapt your expectations of yourself, adapt your training plan, and keep it fun. I mean, for me, that's always like if it's not fun anymore, I don't want to do it. Like, I already have so many other demands in my life, so many other people that need me. When I'm training, I want it to be fun. I want it to fuel me. I want to feel good. And that's okay because I'm showing up for C work because I know that 3 years from now in the future, I'm going to get first place in a Tour of Anchorage. Uh-huh. Okay, so that was the third, right? The fourth. Was that the third? Gosh, you guys, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the fourth is that we sabotage our capacity to be a mom and an athlete by not listening to and by not loving our body. Here's what happens. In the past, as an athlete, I could just go out and run, 10 miles, just hop up off the sofa and pound the pavement for 10 miles and just go, and it was good. It's totally fine. Okay, push 2 babies out of there and your hip flexors are a little bit tight and you pound out 5 miles and you're like, holy heck, I hurt. You got to listen to your body. You've got to listen to your body. And I see so many mamas do this. So we feel the pain, we feel the aches, we feel the weakness, we feel we're not recovering, and we just get up and continue going, continue going. It's as if we don't think about it, maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe it's not really happening to me, right? That's baloney. I almost said BS, but I'm keeping it PG. Um, your body really has changed. It's physically changed. The structure of your pelvis has changed. The structure of your abdominal muscles has changed. So many mamas I work with have diastasis recti, which is the separation of the lineus albus. Is that muscle that kind of like is the, you can't see me, but I'm gesturing to my midriff here. It's the muscle that keeps your basically your core really tight, and it separates, it splits in half because it has to stretch naturally when you grow a belly, right? And I have mamas that experience that. They'll feel the bulging when they're doing crunches. They're going to do squats and they have a hard time getting up from that pivot point in the squat because their core is so weak, but yet they continue squatting. They continue running. They continue doing the actions that they were doing pre-kid because they don't want to slow down long enough to do a simple exercise where you're flexing and working the transverse abdominis. Because I'll tell you what, the exercise that's required to work your transverse abdominis is kind of boring. You'd rather do crunches. You kind of want the adrenaline rush. You want to go, 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 right? If you're anything like me, you don't want to do yoga. You don't want to go do restorative like PT therapy things. You want to go out and like get some. But if you're doing this, if you're consistently not listening to your body, if you just decide that you're going to muscle your way through the aches and the pains and the cramps, girl, you are hurting yourself. You're setting yourself up for failure. Again, you're failing in advance. You're ignoring the symptoms that you know is your body telling you that you need to take care of this in order to be successful. And if you're not listening to it, if you're not following through with what the PT tells you to do, if you go to the PT, they give you the regimented thing to do, and then you don't do it, what the hell? Heck, I'm really bad at this, you guys. You're failing in advance. You're setting yourself up. You're self-sabotaging. Stop it. Stop it. Take care of your body. Listen to your body. If you have a 5-hour run planned and you only spent 6 hours in bed the night before, girl, you ain't going running. You need to sleep. Okay? Like, I see you. I know what you're thinking. You need to take care of your body. Number 5. I totally lied to you guys because I said that I had 4 ways that we sabotage ourselves, and I have 5. Ha ha ha. I'm just full of surprises, right? The 5th way we sabotage our capacity to be a mom and an athlete is by being unwilling to roll with the punches. If you're on a road bike and you have a mechanical problem, what do? You get off your freaking bike and you fix the mechanical problem, right? If you're in the middle of a triathlon and you're in the swim portion and you get hit in the head by a swimmer, what do? I'm done. I don't want to swim anymore. No, you keep swimming. You're like, that sucked, a-hole. And you keep swimming, right? Okay, so these guys, this is the mechanical problem. This is the unanticipated hang up. This is the life that throws you variables that you could never possibly predict. Sometimes you will have a perfect training run, and sometimes you will have a training run where 2 miles in, the toddler in the stroller is screaming her head off, and you still have 5 miles to go. It happens. It's just life. It's just the way it works. It is not a reflection of you as an athlete or your future ability to be an athlete, or whether or not you showed up and logged some 6 steady training hours. It's not a reflection of what you're capable of. It's just a fact. You had a mechanical problem, and you're going to fix it, and you're going to move on. But we do get hung up in it. we do use these unexpected variables and circumstances to talk ourselves out of even going on the bike ride or even doing the training run, because we know that our toddler might start screaming, or we know that the baby might need to eat halfway through. Who knows? Insert whatever that's going to get in our way with our training. And we don't have to think about it that way. We can just simply think about it as a mechanical problem. And what do we do with the mechanical problem? Number one, we know that it's probably going to happen, right? We're on a bike, of course. So we bring everything we need to deal with that mechanical problem. Even if we never even need it, we still bring it. When the problem happens, we check our mind. We keep our mind intact. Oh my gosh, the worst thing and I can speak from experience, worst thing you can do is panic during a bike race when your chain falls off, because you are not thinking straight. I totally did that on the Potter Hill climb. I just panicked. Steep, ridiculous hill. And yeah, I mean, and just anticipate it, know what's going to happen, roll with the punches when it happens. It's not a hang up. It's just a mechanical problem that you need to work through, solve, and move on. It's not a reflection of who you are as an athlete, and it's not a reflection of what you can accomplish as an athlete. Okay, guys. So, what do you think? Thoughts, ideas, opinions, other ways? If you're watching live, is there any way that you see yourself sabotaging yourself as an athlete? Whether you're a mama or not, maybe you're an athlete but also balancing a career, or you're a mama and balancing a career, right? I mean, it really, these things apply whenever we have demands in our life or priorities that we've set for ourselves that for all intents and purposes seem to compete with each other. But specific to how to be a badass mama and an athlete, the ways that we are sabotaging ourselves are through being a perfectionist, by using the past and the now to plan for the future, by not making we sabotage ourselves by being too strict and sucking the fun out of it. And I love the analogy of being like, if we move to Hawaii, of course we're going to adjust our training plan. Like, we have kids, we need to adjust our training plan. It's just the logical thing to do. And then we sabotage our capacity by not listening to our body and by not doing such the simple things that we know is going to prolong and help and support us as an athlete. And then we sabotage our capacity by being unwilling to roll with the punches. And remember, when we have kids, they throw a lot of punches at us. But if we can just think of it like a mechanical problem, it's just a mechanical problem in the middle of a bike race, and we're just going to keep our head straight. We've already prepared for this. We've even practiced how to handle this, right? We're not jumping into a bike race never having had a mechanical problem before. We know what to do with it. We can handle ourselves. So by addressing, if you see yourself in any of these 5 ways that we sabotage our capacity, see yourself in them, and then create a thought that's going to support yourself through it. And I've offered a ton of thoughts for you that you can try on instead of the thought that you may be currently having. And if you can use that thought to build your capacity to show up as an athlete and a mama, it's going to be so much more fun, so much more fulfilling. Because the original question was, if I love being a mama, but if I'm not an athlete, who am I? Girl, you are an athlete. You are an athlete. No one can take that away from you. It's not an identity crisis. It's not a problem where you need a strategy or a better training plan. You just need to build your own internal emotional capacity to experience and fully show up for the fact that the way you're living right now is very different from how you used to live. And you are so capable of transforming your mindset to embrace this new way of living and embrace this direction that you're headed and live the boldest, most fulfilling life as an athlete and as a mama. And oh gosh, I can't even tell you how inspiring it is when your children see you do this, see you push through the hardship, see you work through your own mindset, wrestle through all of those negative self-sabotaging thoughts that are 100% bound to come up. And when you are there and present for them, to hear all those reasons that you're giving yourself as to why you cannot do whatever it is you said you were going to do, and you show up for those thoughts and you hear them and you decide intentionally to change that thought into something that is going to produce the result you want, your kids are watching you. They're watching you and they are learning the most valuable tool we can have and learn and understand as human beings on this planet. I kid you not, I wish they taught this stuff in school, but they don't. Remember, my friend, you are responsible for the way you feel about anything you do in life. And the only reason why you do anything in life or don't do is because of how you think it's going to make you feel. And you can feel however you want just by changing your thoughts about it. I hope that makes sense to you because it's a big concept. It's one that I teach quite in depth on my coaching in my 6-week coaching program. And because this is just such big work, and I'm so proud of you for taking it on and addressing it. We don't have a lot of role models in our society that shows a balance of being a mother and an athlete. It's really easy to get caught in this like Fitsbro kind of, Instagram fit mom, mentality. And at the end of the day, that's not what we're about, right? It's not about having the abs or weighing a certain weight. It's about what can you do in this world? What can you give to this world? How can you produce and show up in a way that fulfills you, enriches your capacity to be the most badass mama you can possibly be? So, and I know that you're not the mama who's content with just being the status quo. I mean, if you were, you wouldn't be here right now. You're not the type of person that's like, I'm just going to be average. No, you want more. You know you deserve more, and you're not sure exactly how to get there. There's a time in, I think, everybody's adult life where we're like, wow, what the hell are my goals? Like, I want more, but I don't know what that is. Like, how do I get there? And why am I not as happy and fulfilled as I thought I was going to be? Like, this life that I'm living right now looks perfect on the outside, but inside I'm like, what next? Is there something more? And that is the very much like the mental chatter of someone who is so capable of pushing themselves outside their comfort zone and getting more. And when you don't intentionally do that, you're going to go crazy. It's almost as if you're not intentionally thriving and you're just holding on and surviving emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, you feel like you're kind of dying. Like you want more, you need more. And that's what I do with my clients. That's what our coaching is about. That is really, I think, the purpose that I feel like I serve for the women that I work with on a one-on-one basis is to be that guide to help them create the mindset. My client the other day one of my clients called me a mindset ninja, which I thought was awesome. I love it. It was like the best compliment ever. To be that, it's my role to be the mindset ninja, to get you in there and to figure out what the heck you're doing to self-sabotage yourself without even knowing that you're doing it. And then we take those habits out. We identify how you're not building your capacity to show up and be the best person that you can be. And then we create a structure. We create the thoughts that are going to generate the feelings, the actions, and the results that you want so that you can continue to be and show up as the best person possible, as the person you're intended to be. And I think that that's the powerful part of life coaching, because for so many of us, we've become just really complacent with where we're at. We get comfortable and then we get bored and then we start to fall off the wagon. So if any of this has resonated with you, and if any of these ways that if you're an athlete and a mama, or if you're a mama who's struggling with a career, or a mama who's struggling with weight loss, or even in relationships. I have a client right now who, anyways, we do it all. We do it, we cover it all. And it's a powerful process. And I would love to support you guys in any way. If this is something that is appealing to you and that you want to take further, definitely private message me. Just shoot me a private message here on Facebook, and I'll connect with you and we can talk about exactly where it is you are now, where you want to go. And I guarantee you I've got a strategy to help you, girl, because this is what I do. This is my life. I'm a mindset ninja, right? I love that. It's so much fun. I told my husband that my client said that and he was like, Right. Isn't it great how our husbands are always the ones to keep us humble? Yeah, my hubby keeps me humble. Oh my God. Okay, so that's what I got for you. I love you guys. It was so much fun to be here with you today. And I'll be back next Monday, spreading a little magic, giving you guys some like awesome tips for how to keep your brain straight so that you can be a kick ass person in life and everything you do. And if you're interested in going further and diving deeper into these issues, just private message me. Bye. Jackson says bye.